Hello. Hello, gorgeous. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello,
welcome to the channel. I'm so happy to have you. Honestly, this has been a long time coming, and I've been very, very excited for this. So if you don't know Jennifer, Jennifer has a wonderful channel, and I'll put the link in the description box. She's absolutely amazing. Do you want to tell everybody a bit about your channel?
Yes, well, we do, royal news over there, of course. And then I'm starting to branch out a little bit more into more pop culture conversations, topics of conversations there. And then I've also done book reads on my channel. The first 2 book reads I did were about old classic Hollywood. I did a book read about Joan Crawford, a book she wrote called My Way of Life in the 1970s. And that was a really good read, a fun read, where you get like vintage decorating tips, vintage fashion, beauty, all of that. And then I read a book about the swashbuckling superstar from the 30s and 40s, Errol Flynn. In a book, it was called Errol Flynn Slept Here, and it was a really great book. It had a little bit of everything: ghost story, Hollywood history, intrigue, drama, famous celebrities. And now I'm starting a new book on the channel called Child Bride with about Priscilla Presley. So we're going to read that.
Yeah.
If you're an Elvis fan, you want to
brilliant video about that as well. So I've got that on my posts on the YouTube. So if you want to click on it and watch it after the live, do so. This girl is amazing. I love your coffee mornings as well. They're really fun. You're a natural, darling. You're a natural.
As are you. And I'm so happy to be here. I know we had planned it, and then I wasn't feeling well, and then you weren't feeling well, and then I was traveling in Rome. Oh yeah, you watched Errol. I love it. Please share those videos. Those videos do not get as much love as they should, but I'm telling you, everyone that watches my Errol Flynn series is like, this is the coolest series ever. And then they watch all of them. It's so fun.
Yeah, no, you're brilliant. I love the direction you're going in, and you give me inspiration and motivation, which is wonderful. I have got the link in the description box, Christine. If I fiddle with this computer, I don't know what might happen. So if you can find it for me, that would be grand.
So funny. You are fabulous.
So let's get into it. You went to Rome. How was Rome?
It was fantastic.
Did you enjoy it?
Tell you?
Yeah, had a great time.
Victoria, I've never been to a city, seriously, where, every single restaurant where we made 2 reservations over the 5 days that we were there. And then every other meal, it was just kind of happenstance wherever we'd be coming across, whether, we went to see the Tower of Pisa. Obviously we did all the major sites, but we just would walk into anywhere, and everywhere we went, it was fabulous. Everywhere we ate, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. And I was just, I probably gained 5 pounds, have total carb starch bloat, but I don't care. It was fabulous. I love it.
It is fabulous. I've been there. I went there a couple of years ago, somewhere I've always dreamed of going because I'm really into my history, and was just blown away by it. The kids, however, they just kind of thought, oh, here's another building. Here's another building.
Right. Yeah.
But I think they'll appreciate it when they're older. That's what I'm hoping, with the photos. And they're like, can we go back? Can we go back? It was a lot of walking, but it was wonderful. Really enjoyed it.
We went to the Vatican. We did the papal audience. We did all of that cool stuff. And I have 2 soon-to-be 13-year-olds. And they were good, but exactly what you just said. After a while, they just have their hit point, and then the complaining starts, and you're like, really?
They found it quite hilarious with the statues with all the bits hanging out, and that was a poignant moment, actually. That really enjoyed that.
What did Austin Powers call it? The twigs and berries on full display? Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah. There was some really quite intriguing statues. It was a bit different. The fountains was great. Anyway, we can talk about Rome another time. So what do you take? What is your take on what's been happening recently? It's a lot going on. We've got a bit about the Andy stuff today. I've got a bit about Beatrice, Eugenie, a couple of little bits of information, and we're going to try and lead you into kind of what I think might be happening with old Fergie. But what's your take on the Andrews arrest? There we go.
Well, mind blowing, first of all. I mean, you kind of have an idea and you think, when is justice going to come? When is justice going to be served? And then you read it and you're thinking, wow, this is actually happening. But Victoria, a year ago, would we have ever thought that we would be making a video talking about the types of things we're talking about now?
No, never. 2026 seems to be a catalyst of fast, something's happening in the air, fast, things are happening very fast. I think the last time we had an arrest of a king or a royal was, I think it was King Charles.
Charles the First, yep.
Yes, the last time. That was back in the
17th century.
There you go. So that's right. Yeah. So unbelievable.
Yep.
And for this to come, 360, to have a royal arrested in this modern time is scandalous, isn't it? And also, the links that he has, it's a very layered arrest, I feel. It's not just about one thing. I do believe that they're going to look and try and find other pieces of evidence to tie him into other things that are going on with the files. What do you believe will happen? What's your outcome on this?
Well, first of all, I don't think anyone was too surprised that what they're hitting him with now is all the financial improprieties, right? It's too bad that it wasn't the abuses that's really got everyone upset. Not to say that the financial impropriety isn't something that's worth getting upset over in of itself, but I don't see this ending well for him. Although I don't see a repentant man, I don't see a man that has any contrition of any kind whatsoever. I was just watching an interview with Andrew Lowney. Love that man, by the way. We have him to thank for this. But I was just watching an interview with him, talking with someone, I forget the presenter, that even after the titles were taken, back in October, he's still insistent, call me sir. I am the son of the former monarch, the brother of the king. I mean, this man, he is just like the book title, entitled. And I don't see it ending well for him. Part of me feels like maybe he'll be on a plane to the Middle East faster than you could say Dubai if things get really hairy.
Yeah.
But who knows? I think if he were to do that to his brother, it would not look good for Charles, because everyone would look upon that as Charles is still covering up for him, because there's more and more voices out there. What did Charles know, and when did he know it?
No, 100%. And I feel like that they're trying their very best to distance themselves from this situation. But at the end of the day, this has been going on for years and years and years. This is decades worth of kind of debauchery and scandalous behaviour. And you're right, he does have a reputation within the social circles of being very arrogant, being basically kind of rude, narcissistic, and I didn't know that his reputation exceeded him. I didn't know how well that it was covered up, that he actually isn't a very nice person. I know you can't be convicted for being somebody that isn't particularly warm and personable, but it shows his character and maybe what he is capable of.
Absolutely. I was just watching a new documentary that the Sun Channel, their royal exclusive specials that they put out. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And every single person that they interviewed that was in his employ all said he's not a particularly nice individual. In fact, many people characterized him as just plain nasty. And they also said that if you weren't an immediate family member, a royal, or you weren't someone he was dating, he just really was probably the most incorrigible, nasty human being ever. Like, you were not given a second thought to the way that you were treated or the way you were spoken to.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that sense of entitlement really sits, seeps through down to all of them. Really, I wouldn't say they all behave like this, but there's a sense of entitlement from the very day that they're born, because they are given everything, and they've got access to everything that they could desire.
Right.
And pretty much, it felt, he must have felt like he was untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Queen by his side, that was always the case, and now things have really changed for him. And there's all this talk about his mental health, which I just find, is this kind of a bit of a cushion for them? Oh, let's be careful, let's not drag them too much. Well, unfortunately, your actions and how you've behaved, what you're just going to get away with it, and we're going to go, okay, let's be careful with him, he's a sensitive soul. No, you knew what you were doing.
Right. I mean, as a Catholic Christian, and I do speak about God on my channel because that's just who I am. I do feel a certain sense of sympathy for him as a human being. However, your your due is here now. I mean, he has no one to blame but himself. This is a situation entirely of his own making. And there's heavenly justice, but there's also earthly justice. We have rules and we have laws and we have institutions for a reason to guide behavior. And the premise is always that no one's above the law. So now it really is time to be shown that these elites and these institutions really do have to put up or shut up. Is that really the truth? Is there no different set of laws for them versus for us? And you have to face the music. Yeah, and you have to face the music, and you have to be punished for what you have done. And that is actually good for him. I mean, it's not only good for him, it's good for society, because when society sees that no one is above the law, when society sees that someone as privileged and entitled as this man can actually be punished and be taken to task for what he's done, that's a very powerful deterrent, because the more this stuff comes to light with all this Epstein stuff, with all these elites, all this sick, disgusting stuff we're learning about, if more people are held accountable and punished for their actions, that's a very powerful deterrent, very powerful deterrent. And that's why justice is so important. And yes, you can have sympathy, but you know what? You can have sympathy for them and still say, you need to be punished, period. I'm fired up, sorry.
100%, completely right. So I completely agree with you. I think now there's going to be a real shift in the dynamics of the royal family, the way things are going to be run. I do think this is going to be, again, the catalyst to change the monarchy, and make things transparent, and for people to know things to be laid bare. For example, their finances. And I did speak about this the other day, and we're not going to go too much into this, but their finances, everything that they do, and how they conduct themselves, and where the money's being used. Considering the economy as well, I feel like if they're not going to be, they have to be upstanding characters, and that they are representing our country. And it feels unethical that they're going to continue to represent if they're shrouded in all this mystery, when they're obviously into, some of them are into some dodgy things. And even Harry has been known to be part of some of these scandals as well. So it's interesting to kind of see how this will move forward, and how things will, the landscape of the royal family will change over the years. But let's move on. Sarah Ferguson, she's checked into a mental health clinic after the emails surfaced. This is why we have not seen her anywhere. How much it costs to stay there?
I've read.
I've
read different things. I've read 25 grand US. I have an article pulled up here on my phone from the Daily Express, and it says inside the 344K in pounds a month Swiss mental health center that Sarah Ferguson visited. And I talked about this on a video that I'm editing today. I was telling you before we started going live. And who the hell is paying for this? I want to know. Who's paying for this?
Well, this is a good question. So, does she have any finances? Have we got any kind of background on Fergie's finances?
I don't know. I can't speak extensively on what she has because I haven't gone into that particular topic, but I have seen enough of, say, Andrew Lowney's interviews, for example, where he has
Yeah,
said, don't feel too sorry for her. She does have money. She's just loath to use
yeah,
her own money. She likes to get
yes,
her handouts and she likes to get her favors.
yeah,
And, so
yeah,
whether she's financing it herself, whether her daughters are
yeah.
financing it, who knows? But she better be really careful and tread very, very quietly and lightly, because if anything comes out that she's getting money, where she shouldn't be getting it for this little stay at Canyon Ranch, there's going to be problems.
Well, it's interesting. We all know the king's a billionaire, and I know that he's quite close with Fergie. I don't know whether this relationship's going to dwindle away into
Mhm.
finite dust.
Yeah.
Quite possibly after all of this, this massive scandal. But it says £13,000 a day clinic in Zurich, so you could be right. The maths in my head right now, I can't work that out for the month, but that
Yeah.
is a hell of a lot of money to pay to stay somewhere, and she can't stay there forever. She can't hide away forever unless she completely, goes to the other side of the world and lives in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So it's going to
Right.
be impossible. She has to show her face. And unfortunately for her, these emails do not paint her in a good light. You would think that she
Mhm.
would have learnt her lesson from her previous historical mistakes. But unfortunately for her, she doesn't seem to have two brain cells.
To rub
Uh,
together.
no, bless her.
Yeah,
So,
and I agree. This is not a good look, because think about it. Okay, if she legitimately needs some mental health and counseling right now, okay, no one's going to deny her that. But how good a look is it to be coming out of a place that does look like a spa? Okay, we're talking personal chefs. We're talking, apparently, they have bespoke one-on-one treatment plans that they formulate. And I've seen pictures of this place online. And she apparently checked in a little bit after Christmas and then was there for a full month. So we know it's quite a bit, an amount that's been amassed just for a month, right? And in this article, for example, I'm looking at it and it's saying that, I don't know, do you know is she on Instagram or TikTok or what? I don't know, but it's
I
saying
thought
that.
she was on Instagram.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, because it's saying in a message on social media, she wrote, as in Fergie, quote, mental health touches us all. It has no boundaries. We need to promote open conversations about mental health and how we can improve access to mental health care across society. So I guess that's her little blurb to kind of show as to why she was there. I wasn't sure what to make of that, as if you're trying to say, well, I'm going through a few things and that's why I was there. And I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't really seem like the type of place that would be in her best interest right now, at least in the public eye. I don't know what you think about that, but that was the first thing I thought.
I think they are going to go down the mental health route because, of course,
Mhm.
with the times that we're in now, the media can't be as savage and as ruthless as they were back in the 90s, because it was, horrendous. We didn't care here. I mean, anyone that lived through that, we are made of different sauce.
And
It was
don't you remember
insane.
yeah, they used to call her the Duchess of Pork and all that. You remember?
Yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah. I mean, it was
terrible. I mean,
savage. It was savage.
yeah, yeah,
And
for
I think
sure.
there are laws now where they have to be very careful about how far they go. They can't
Mhm,
hound, and to an extent, they can't bully a person now to the point that they did before. I believe that they actually deserve to be bullied and hounded,
mhm,
because they still rub shoulders with the PD file when he was convicted, after he was convicted, and it was no issue. It was still best friends. And I've got some of these emails and they're just horrendous. and I can't show everything, but I'll show the good stuff that I can.
Yeah, show us a few. Well, she was definitely
uh,
talking out of both sides of her mouth. In one hand, she was telling the press that she had nothing to do with him, that she hates, the word philia, she abhors that. And then in the same breath, oh, I'm so sorry, I still love you. And it's like,
yeah,
wow, that's
yeah,
pretty evil. That's pretty evil.
yeah. She is almost like a leech. Oh, it doesn't. There's no moral compass left with these
No.
people. They see what they can grab, what they can get, and that's all she cared about. And what I've come to this realization, and before I say what I feel, I'll see what you guys think first. Of what you can make of a couple of these emails that I have. Okay, and you may have seen them already. So yeah, this is Jennifer's YouTube. If everyone can subscribe, that would be wonderful. So just bear with me a second, because you know how great I am with technology. I was trying to download what I have, and that was just not working for me.
You're great
So
with technology. You have the cute background. You had the cute intro music. I was like rocking out to your info music.
Babe, that wasn't me that made that. Ron did it, bless his heart. He was very helpful, but I am not great at all.
I need to get him to make me some
millennial.
intro music. What the heck?
Okay, well, yeah, no, I can put you forward to him because he's great. He's really good with all this. He's very, very techie. Okay, so I've got an email here. Can you see it on the screen?
Yes. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger on my end, but I can't see it. Go ahead and read it to me.
I will read it though. Hold on a second.
From Sarah, Beatrice. Oh, yeah.
Hold on. I've lost it now because I was reading it. Hold on a minute. Okay, let's see what I'm doing. This is where I'm so good, aren't I? Right. Okay. So it says here. Oh no, sorry. 2 seconds, guys. Because I've lost the actual. Where is it?
You had one on there,
I did
love.
have it on there. I know. But you know what it is? I can't read it on that screen.
Oh.
So I had it on the thing. Hold on. Sorry, guys. You know what I'm like.
No worries.
Terrible.
This is why I don't do lives. You're scaring the crapola out of me right now.
No, honestly. Right. I've got it here. Right. It's next to that one. Yep. Okay. So share.
Well, while you're looking for that, what did you think of that baby in that picture where Andrew was with that little baby playing with that ball that looked like a woman's breast?
I know, right? Again, there are emails that state that they had to have children around them. And I know that there's also other parts of these emails that talk about them being vampires as such. And there is even talk. This is really distressing. I don't even know how to word it. Okay, so they took babies from mums, and because they had the mum around when they were hungry to breastfeed, they wanted to suck on something, so they had the mum there, but they weren't sucking on. They weren't sucking on the mum. Do you know what I mean? I think you guys know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean, and I saw that, and I was.
Yeah, I mean, so I do think that they were going down a real dark rabbit hole with this. Okay, so I put it on the screen, but I'm going to read it instead because I can't seem to do it. So hold on. Okay, so Beatrice is in London with her father. Eugene is away with a cool boyfriend. Now, this is an email from Sarah to Jeffrey.
Okay.
And then he asks, will she be in London on Saturday? Any chance of your daughters saying hello? Now, I went through a few emails like this where Jeffrey is very persistent on seeing Eugenie and Beatrice. Now, hear me out. It's all a bit weird because why does a an old man, not an old man, but you know what I mean. There's a big age gap there. Why is he so adamant in seeing these girls? And it was always sort of Fergie letting him know where the girls are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hear me out. This is just my thought process. It's not a fact. It's just allegedly. I'm just thinking out loud.
Okay.
Was she? This is the culture that I'm reading into at the moment. This is separately that a lot of girls that are making their way up in this industry and meeting people, they're almost pimped out. They're used to, they're sort of sold off to the highest bidder, so to speak. We've seen this with the yachting girls. We've seen it with the modeling world, for instance. Now, what I've researched into the modeling world is that these girls don't get to that place without basically doing what they need to do, sodomizing themselves. I mean, I've heard that Bella Hadid and what's Gigi, is it? They were. This is a report that came out today. This article, you can find the article, that they sold their bodies to get to where they are. So the question mark that is over this is, why was Fergie so and Epstein always so anxious as to the whereabouts of these girls and what they were doing and if they could meet him? I mean, I know this is a bit out there and this is wild, but what do you think to that?
You know what? I don't know, Victoria. I don't know. It's all very shady. It's all very disgusting. And I don't think there's anything now beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, just that disgusting thing that you just told me, and did you read that in the files about that baby thing you just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are the types of things that the government website, the DOJ website, is being transparent with the public about. But think about the stuff we don't know about, the redacted pages, because there are still, we've been told if there's an ongoing investigation, if there is someone who has said to be given information to protect their identity or to prevent revenge or anything like that. So we know that there are redactions. We know there are things that are not being released for whatever reason. And I've seen different things where when you see the names blocked out and you think, why is the name blocked out? The name is blocked out because it's a person that if their name was made public, there would probably be an outcry to such an extent that just everything that we know, like the way the institutions are formed, the governments, I mean, who knows? It would be a toppling, a modern day, let's storm the Bastille, let's, arrest Charles I, that type of thing. I don't think that we can put anything, I don't know.
It's not the most shocking thing to hear about the girls, is it? I mean, there's a lot more shocking things in the Epstein files anyway. So it doesn't surprise me if they were used as like almost as for trading. They were almost an asset for Fergie, and we know Fergie's money hungry. And if they've come into a world where they are cannon fodder from the beginning, they don't know any different. This is probably something that was expected of them throughout their lives. They were bartered with, and
smile,
when money is your only kind of and if your money is your only kind of goal and to stay in the game, I can see that once you're there and you want to stay there, maybe, they just didn't care. Their body's a vessel and they just did what they did. And it feels very interesting to see how eager Fergie is for Epstein to see the girls a lot. There's more than that one email. There's loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. And it's all the same narrative. And it feels odd that they want to see the girls all the time. And this is just my opinion.
Yeah, well, like you were just saying, everyone's got their currency that they have to sell, right? Whether it's their body, whether it's their looks, whether it's their background, so Epstein's currency were mainly his money and his connections. Fergie's currency is her connections and who she can introduce Epstein to through all of her diplomatic and royal channels, right? And she's not the blood royal. her husband and her daughters are. So maybe in answer to your earlier question, maybe that's why she was so eager to always introduce the girls into any type of interaction or conversation, because this is my currency. These are my daughters. They are HRH.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that isn't even as sick as some of the things that we're learning about in the files. But for normals like us, we hear that and we're thinking exactly what you said. Why are you pimping out your children, even by name?
Yeah, you're completely right. And this is why this isn't even that explosive. But
Yeah.
if you're looking at this as a collective and you're putting a puzzle together, you're working out the dynamics and the relationships within the royal family and how they conduct themselves. It's really quite frightening. I'm not saying, I'm just saying the Yorks, guys, by the way, because we haven't got anything on anyone else, but the Yorks definitely are very unusual. And they all are very kind of, I would say, colourful characters to this point.
Yes.
There is another bit of information here stating that Sarah Ferguson also introduced her goddaughter to the Epstein after his release from prison. So it wasn't before, it was after. Again, I mean, what do you want to do that for? It's bizarre. Sorry, it just makes me a little bit angry. Just
but it
kind of
seems like
feeling
just
like
another
this
day. It
woman
just seems like
is
just another day for
the
them,
devil
right?
reincarnated.
Yeah. It's just par for the course for her, it
Yeah.
seems like.
She actually, this is another telling tale here. She said when she handed him over, she said the daughter of her former lady in waiting, she said, "Over to you." Over to you what? Over to you
Yeah,
what? What does that
exactly.
mean? I think the implication is there. I think reading between the lines is pretty kind of obvious. I
Right.
feel like Ferguson, and this is quite a statement, but it feels like she could have been a madame of, of these girls.
Well, it seems in a lot of ways, to me anyway, that she was conducting herself in a very similar way to the way that Ghislaine did. Whereas, let me introduce you to as many people as I can. Let me just shuffle more to you. And like you just said, here she is, here she is. What was it? Up to you, or here to you, or
Here
something?
this is your next
Yeah.
bit of plaything.
Yeah. So who
Over
knows?
to you. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I think it's just the internet.
Oh,
Again, I don't know
yeah.
why, but the internet.
It's a
Yeah.
little weird. Sometimes sometimes you start talking, but then it stops and I can't hear you. So sorry if there's a pause.
No, that's fine. Don't worry. No worries. I was just going to read out a little bit of that article that I have.
Okay.
So just to confirm what I'm saying. So she says, following the meeting, Epstein's assistant wrote, Poppy Cotterill would love to hear more and be introduced to Dr. Merrill and his alternative medicine for the children's charity. And then Poppy is thrilled. I will follow up to see when the tour will take place. And then an email says, I gather you might be employing Poppy. So he employed her. And then he's put, what do you know about her? Is she a good choice? Okay. Good choice. It's not really yeah, I know, right? She's only
As
22.
in open a menu and just choose, right? Isn't that what Virginia Giuffre said in her book,
Yeah.
that she felt like, she was just being ordered almost off a menu, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. And maybe this is an expectation of these girls from a young age, and they really just have been institutionalized, and there's a trauma there for them. And in a way, the girls should have been protected by their parents, but there is talk that the king is in crisis talks with the girls. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I haven't. What have you heard?
Okay, so again, this is just all happening. Everything is happening so quickly and fast. You can't really keep
No.
up with it all. But
No,
um,
I mean, I don't know if everyone realizes what it is like at this particular moment in time to be a YouTuber, because even when you're live, you can't keep up with all of it. I mean, you can make a video, edit it, upload it 5 hours later, and something happened in the interim.
yeah, no, and I think as well, if you're not a full-time YouTuber, you are literally scrambling. You're
Yeah.
like, I gotta get
Well,
this out, and then everybody
I
else is like,
consider
really?
myself part-time, but even part-time, you're working up to 35, 40 hours on your videos. I mean, who are we kidding, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say quarter time by the way I do it, I think. But yeah, no, 100%. So apparently Beatrice and Eugene were told to drop their titles and stop using them to make money. They're in crisis talks with the king at the moment, which I thought would be inevitable anyway. Do you
Hmm.
think that's the right decision?
I just don't like the wording of what you just read. They have been asked to. How about they've been told not to? That's what I want to hear. Okay. Do you
Yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah,
pre-October? Remember before Charles took away the title of prince, and there was the statement about 2 weeks prior, but it came from who? Not the king. It came from Andrew, talking about basically how put upon he was. Remember how put upon he was, but why he is now choosing not to use the title of duke and all this. And I'm thinking to myself, why is Charles even allowing this man at even at that point back in early October to write this as if he's the aggrieved party, right? It always should have
yeah,
been, I'm the king, you're not going to use this. You're not going to be a duke, you're not going to be a prince, end of story. It's He's so reactionary. He's not taking the reins of the entire situation. He's reacting, and it's a bad look. You don't At this point, you don't go to the girls and say, please don't use your titles. It's you're not going to use
no.
your titles anymore.
Well, you're right. So I think they've been using their titles for a long time to peddle their businesses anyway, and it
Mhm.
just accelerates their businesses and their branding, a bit like Harry and
Yep.
Meghan, very similar. They use their names to, accelerate their lifestyles, and get by. But it is tarnished now, and especially that they were also complicit. We've got to remember the media uses the word girls for them. They're
They're not
grown
girls.
ass women. They're
You're right.
grown ass women. And you get to an age where you know exactly what you're doing. You're not an idiot anymore. You're not naive. You're not a vulnerable little girl. Yes, we've all have carried trauma, and I appreciate that. But you know what decisions are right and wrong. And I think by continuingly to continue to divulge in a relationship with a known S offender, we where is the bar where's the line? You think that's
Mhm.
socially acceptable because of who he is. I don't
Right.
think that they can really hold their own after what we've seen. The amount of contact, it wasn't just a small
Mhm.
amount of contact. It
Right.
was consistently a barrage of emails, dates, and meetings.
Mhm.
And I mean, Fergie just completely loves him. Like she says, "Oh, I love you like a brother." I think she said something like, "Marry me," in one email,
Mhm.
um,
She
and
doesn't love
another
him.
email
She didn't love
states,
him, Victoria. She loved his money. She loved what his money could do for her. That's
"Yeah,
what she loved. I don't
yeah,
know if these people
yeah,
are capable of really having a truly loving relationship where you're not getting anything out of it. Love isn't what you can do for me. Love is what can I do for you. Imagine if everyone had that
yes,
mindset. Love is what I can do for you. There wouldn't be any problems in the world. But it's people like
mm,
her that give a really bad name to these royal titles. So that's why it's infuriating to hear that, oh, he's asking them. But just the fact that all these horrible people hold titles is only going to diminish the idea of titles in the future. You know, No one's going to
Yeah.
respect a title anymore because look at the people that hold these titles. It's disgusting.
You know, and you're completely right. They have completely kind of eroded the strength of that title, the Yorks especially. And it states here that she says, so this is again from the files. She praises him after his release. You're like the brother I've always wished for. And in another email, she says she congratulates him on the arrival of a baby boy, which is interesting. I
did
didn't know
hear
that.
something about that, but then there's only a few references to that, right? There's nothing that's been definitively proven that he did or did not have a child, or
Well, I'm trying to find out, but then my mind goes straight to the children in the pictures for some reason. I feel like there's an undertone of that the emails don't really express the truth all the time. It's kind of, you have to read between the lines, and I wonder if it's to do with these young children that were, for some reason, with Randy Andy and Epstein. So it's interesting to kind of, I'm going to try and find out what that is. But, you know, she's also put, I'm at your service, just marry me. I mean, it just goes on and on. It really does. The amount of love she gives him is insane.
And even if you are talking like that to somebody, you're doing it behind closed doors, and you're not, I don't know. It sounds and seems really performative to me. It seems that even Jeffrey Epstein reading it probably would have barfed in his mouth a little bit, like, ugh, you know. It's just so gross. It really is gross. And I can't believe how many of these people are so stupid to put all of this down on email. It's like, you can say it and still be safe. You write it, forget it, you're done.
It is an odd one, isn't it? These emails. I mean, I don't contact my friends through email. It's just a bizarre thing to do, isn't it? So I imagine if that is just an email, it's just, you know, a slither of what's going on, when they could have their WhatsApp group chat pinging off constantly. You don't know. Theo says, agree fully with Jennifer. They should not be asked. It should be, you are not allowed to use the titles in public. And I agree with Jennifer as well. I think going back to that, I think the king has an issue here, because this isn't just an institution. This is family. And this is where it gets very messy, because you've got dynamics, not just of having working royals, but you have the dynamic of being their family. So it gets quite confusing how to handle this, because you were looking at it from two dimensions. And I think this is why go on.
I was going to say, I never understood it though, because you need to be able to reason with these people and say, I'm asking you to not use them in, well, he shouldn't ask, but I've already said that, but not using them in public will at the very least help to preserve what you still have. Because when you go out and you continue to flaunt them, it's going to really, really ruin the integrity of the entire institution of which you benefit. That's why I never understood why Harry and Meghan act like such nincompoops and idiots in trying to tear down the very institution that they benefit from themselves. It doesn't make any sense. It's like you want to burn down your own house that you're trying to live in.
This is how kind of ridiculously spiteful they are, though, which is interesting that you said that, because I wanted to lead into that actually, because Meghan did post about her as ever brand the day of his arrest.
She did. Let me see if I can pull up my old Insta here. I'm always talking about how I just love how she's always on the Insta flashing her veneers, you know? It's like,
she's so smug. That was such a smug kind of F you to the royals, and where I appreciate they feel that way. She's not clean
did she
herself.
do it on? Yeah. Did she do it on As Ever, or was it on her?
I think it was As Ever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, but she could have transferred it over. Oh, has Mandelson been arrested? What, has this just happened now? This is what
See
I
what I
mean.
mean? We're on a live and
What the hell?
wow, hold on.
Oh my God. It's good news, really good
Right.
news,
Well,
but this is
not
insane.
not good news for your PM though, I'll tell you that much.
Well,
Former UK ambassador to US, Peter Mandelson, arrested. Let's see, I have the
tell me
Toronto
what's
Sun.
happening, Jennifer. Read it to me.
Okay, I have the Toronto Sun. Former UK ambassador Peter Mandelson arrested amid Epstein link. He was removed from the role last September after new information from his friendship with the late convicted sex offender emerged. Sorry, I shouldn't say that on the live. Yeah, so basically he was arrested Monday today in a misconduct probe stemming from ties to Epstein. And you know how when the police force in the UK makes these reports, they don't publish the name. They say a 72-year-old individual or whatever. So it's saying, quote, officers have arrested a 72-year-old man on suspicion of misconduct in public office at a Camden arrest in North London, the Met Police said in their statement. It did not name him in accordance with the British police standards. They had confirmed, London police had confirmed earlier this month that it had launched a criminal investigation over allegations of misconduct in public office. So yes, he has indeed been arrested. And he was business secretary under former Prime Minister Gordon Brown, for those that don't know.
He's a shady character. He's always been shady, but he was
Wasn't he?
rehired.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, say that again. You cut out.
I was going to say, wasn't he the one that was in the files in his underwear or something? Those pics of him in his undies? Okay. Yeah. I was trying to picture his face.
Yeah. He was basically rehired to be able to, in its essence, deal with Trump. That was kind of the logic behind it. That was that because they were friends. They felt that it was best for him to be back in office because of his friendship with Trump. But they all knew they knew his affiliation with Epstein, and they were fully aware of it. But it didn't seem to matter. I just want to say hello to Alice. I've missed you. I haven't seen you in ages. It's great to have you back on board. I like seeing people pop up when I haven't seen them in a while. It's great. And it is breaking news and it's outstanding. And I'm enjoying the fact that people are getting their comeuppance and things are finally, being dealt with. But whether this is, sometimes I wonder whether this is just for show. Will anything come from it? That is. I hope that it sees the right course. Whether that sometimes I feel like this is done just to keep people happy, and then we move on to a next thing, and everything is forgotten. So I hope this does kind of the outcome is what we want, because I don't think either Andy or Mandelson are not guilty. I believe that they genuinely need some kind of punishment. If the monarchy falls, so do all titles, yes, and the Montecito Moras. And yeah, going back to that. So as the as ever, she I think she was talking about, I don't know, was it on as ever or Instagram? Does anyone know in the side chat? What she promoted? She was promoting one of her. Is she selling ice cubes at the moment?
I think the latest one was her showing us or giving us tips about how to pour champagne.
Oh, yes. Relax.
You have to
pour the
chill
champagne.
it. Yes. Chill it well. Pour slowly. I have it right here. Hold on. And finish with a few fresh raspberries for garnish. Oh, does she mean her raspberries, her spread? Is that what she's talking about? I
Who
mean,
eats jam and champagne? I don't know. It's not me. I've never done that before.
Are you kidding me with this?
But you see, when she says things, it's all kind of like a dig. I feel it's a bit of a dig. Why does she have to release? She does it every time. She releases stuff on days of either the big importance to the royal family or some sort of scandal or upheaval.
Or think about it. he's meaning Andrew, he was arrested, not charged yet, but he's under an active investigation by how many different departments, right? At least up to 7, I think it is now. And think about how perverse she is. She's making a post about pouring bubbly. What are we doing when we're pouring bubbly, Victoria? We're celebrating, right?
That's what she's
She
doing.
is so nasty. She's nasty.
Yeah.
Now, people like us, we're saying we want justice. We're happy to see the rents coming due, but we're not sitting around talking about popping bubbly because it's a human tragedy still. There are victims. It's a disgusting ongoing story that no one should be celebrating. And this wench is over here talking about popping the bubbly. Are you kidding me?
And I love that insight there, Jennifer, because you're right. This is not a time of celebration. It's
No.
actually I think been detrimental to a lot of our mental health. I
Yes.
can't still process a lot of what's been happening. I'm still struggling with it because is this the world that we're really living in?
Yes.
It's not a time for celebration. I haven't thought, oh, let me go get some champagne and celebrate it's a disaster. It's depressing. It leaves you with a
Yes.
feeling of emptiness and insecurity
Yes.
about where we are as people and what's really going on in this world. And she is only concerned about the royal family having a hard time, that she's not looking anywhere out of that vicinity. She's got a tunnel vision when it comes to her life. And she's literally is this very spiteful and conniving individual because that's all she cares about is getting one up on the royals.
Yeah. And like any narcissist, it's when tragedy befalls another, it makes me look better.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what they're trying to push out, is that they're trying to distance themselves. And you know what she's saying, like, we need to really keep our distance. This is why we can't go back to the UK. You can't go back there. Look how poorly this reflects on us. So therein, let's push out this PR puff piece that, see, we're not like him. We're not like Andrew. We're not like these people. Well, guess what? Two truths can exist at the same time. You might not be as bad, but we've heard some pretty nasty stories about Harry over the years. Paula's told me some nasty stories about him that she's researched. She's talked about it on her channel before. Who knows what he's been up to? We'll never know. The palace covered up for him for years. But point being, I mean, it's just so nasty how she's celebrating this in a sense. Other people's misdeeds and misfortunes somehow props her up, makes her feel better about herself, which is really sad, really, really sad.
And you're right. Two things can be true simultaneously, and this is what people have to remember: is that just because one's doing worse doesn't mean the other one is any better. And you're completely right. You know, it shows her character. It shows she's got a vendetta still. She's still holding a lot of rage and anger within her, which is very, very unhealthy. And like Becky said, if the monarchy falls, so do all the titles, including the Montecito morons. And she's completely right. They're stupid. They're not thinking of the long game. You're meant to you want to keep the royals going, because if they fall like a pack of cards, you're royally up the creek without a paddle.
Right. I'm just fearful of what you mentioned before, and I just looked in the chat what Alice just said. She jarred my memory on something. So when I was looking at looking at the differences between the UK legal system and ours, you can be charged. Sorry, you can be arrested in the UK and not be charged. It's somewhat different in the US. I would say probably more than half of the time when you are arrested, there is a charge. Not always, but they can't hold you past a certain amount of time. It's about 2 days. And then they have to formally charge you, or they have to let you go. But this investigation could potentially drag on for months and months and months. And I'm just fearful of what you had said prior, which was, what if it just all quietly just goes away, and then, or sorry, that's what they're hoping. Although I don't think that the public's going to stand for that anymore. I hope they won't. I think something has been stirred in the normals. I like to call us the normals, because we are normal compared to these people. But something's been stirred in us, and I really hope that's not the case. I really do hope that something does come out of this arrest, even though he hasn't been charged yet, even though Mandelson hasn't been charged yet. They should be charged with something. You cannot tell me that there's nothing in those files, whether it's because of the abuse or because of the financial improprieties. There has to be something that we can make stick.
It's almost like you're right. So it's great what's happening at the moment, but is it just sort of a play to show that they're doing something, and will it stick, like you say? And that is the telling tale, really, is how this is going to travel and what's going to happen. Because great, you're arresting people, but again, he was released. Randy Andy was released on. It says, whether it's not clear whether he was released on bail or not. So what's the information you have? Because I've got, it's not very clear here whether he was released on bail. And if he was released on bail, he'd be under conditions and under terms. If he wasn't, go on.
Yeah. Well, in my reading, it's unlike the U.S. when we talk about bail in the U.S. There's money that changes hands. You know, the
we don't do that.
Has to pay the court in order to be released, whereas it's more of just the name or the adage bail. But yes, he was released on bail, but it's not that conditional bail, which I was so upset about in the video that I filmed today. Was he should have been, because think about it. He's being investigated for financial impropriety and abuse of public office, which in of itself carries a lifetime sentence. A lifetime sentence isn't enough to release someone on conditional bail. I think it is. Why was he not released on conditional bail? He still would have been released, but his whereabouts and his activity would have been tracked, and he would have been told, you can't do this, you can't travel here, you can't do this. No conditions were placed on him upon release for something that could carry a
All it was is released under investigation, which means he's not been charged, but remains subject to ongoing police inquiries.
Yeah.
Now, the thing with that as well, the release does not impose restrictions like a curfew, and he could leave the country, like you told me before. He can leave the country. Now, I'm sorry, but that feels like a very flaky arrest to me. Doesn't seem to have much substance to it whatsoever. So yeah, this just feels like it's all maybe done for show, because realistically, are they going to put Andy in prison? Where's he going to go? You know, he's going to have to be, what I think might happen is potentially he'll play the mental health card, and he'll be taken into a mental institution if that was the worst scenario. But I can't see him being locked away in one of our prisons here. They'd have a field day with him. I don't think he'd last 5 minutes. You know, his safety.
Well, I mean, obviously he'd be kept, because we always say general population in the U.S. You know, he's at a gen pop. I don't think he would be anywhere near just like a regular prisoner. He would probably be given some privileges, even if he was going to be in prison for life, you know?
Yeah. No, well, we shall see. We shall see what happens.
It's our mental health, right?
And it's, you know, it's they've gone quiet at the moment because it's still ongoing. I think they're still searching his house. So we'll just have to see kind of how this plays out. Lastly, before you go, I wanted to talk to you very quickly about this picture that I have. This beautiful picture, because I don't want to keep you any more than an hour, because I feel like everybody gets ants in their pants. I do anyway, because I'm swear I've got something going on with me. So here we've got this picture. So can you see it?
Lordy.
Yeah. So
I don't want to see it. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Victoria. I was trying to have a good evening.
Well, the face is being shown. What is all this nonsense about? Oh, we're not having the face shown, and this whole it vibe that's going on with the, you know, this just reminds me of the clown it. I mean, Harry might be morphing into it. I don't know.
Well, you know what I thought too when you said the clown? Remember, she had that picture on her Instagram a couple of weeks ago, her with the balloons. I bet you they're the same damn balloons. They just look a little more deflated. So she figured she'd save them and pull them out for the Valentine's message, right? Am I right?
Maybe, yeah, maybe Harry sucked the helium out of him so he could get some high. He could
Yeah.
get a bit of a high out of the helium. Thank you, Rolling Stones, for the super sticker. You're absolute legend. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Would you like to come back on next Monday? I thoroughly enjoyed having you on. You're absolute gem.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to check my diary, darling, but I'm sure that we
Diary,
can work
darling.
something
Whenever you're
out.
free, it would be
Yeah,
great to have you back.
if not next Monday, but the, Monday after. But there's just so much to talk about. And like you said, you're on a live and the updates just come, don't they? They just fast and furious.
They're fast, furious, and yeah, very hard to keep up with. Thank you for Christine for the $4.99. I appreciate you guys. That's really kind of you. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Did you enjoy having Jennifer on? She's fantastic, isn't she? She's a barrel of knowledge. I love her. She's amazing.
Well, I loved being here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And your link is in the description box, guys, if you want to go and subscribe to Jennifer. We've got so much more to talk about, but I didn't want to go for a 2-hour stint because I actually had so much more. So I thought we'd get through it quicker, but it didn't happen like that. It's always more left over. Tomorrow,
well, there's
I'm not.
so much to
Yeah,
talk about. I mean, really, we could literally be here for 5 hours straight and still be talking.
Yeah. I had so much more information to share, and we literally, I didn't even realize how much it's gone over time. However, I am live with P Diner tomorrow at 10 p.m. Yeah, so it's going to be a late one because she's quite a bit behind. But Jennifer, I'd love to collaborate with you again. It's absolutely awesome.
Thank you for
so much
having
for coming
me.
on, and I hope it wasn't. I hope that it was as comfortable as it could be.
I'm going to have to go nurture my mental health, but I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, so sorry, darling. All right, love you guys in the side chat, and hopefully I see you all tomorrow at 10 p.m. Peace and love. Bye.